Downtown Norway, continuing down the Stagecoach Road or Main Street. And this orange block building is the Norway Temperance Hall. Built in 1909. And we're in the beginning stages of its restoration. Let's go inside. This is the ticket booth area window. You come in. This is the stage in the back, and then this is what it seen better days, but they held for 50 years they held about 60 plays up there, and then they had weekly game nights and parties for every event. This is where you coat room here, and then below the stage, it's got to fix the wall there. It's got to be before the whole building collapses, and then a ceiling up there. It's got to be repaired, and then you got a balcony up. Looking below, they had dances and game nights and all sorts of stuff, parties. And then below the stage, like I was saying, there's steps going down to a dining room below there. And then the next room underneath the floor is the kitchen, where they did all the cooking for the dinners. So we're not see the whole thing, we'll just give you an idea what it looked like, and we're going to continue on through the village of Norway. And then again, that's Route 71. And then this is the original, this is Route 71, built in 1934. And then this corner here belonged to Jacob Peterson, a farmer. Nice big farm. And we'll just walk on down the road here. And this corner here belonged to the Nest brothers. They had the local garage and filling station and such. Important part of the community. And straight ahead is the Norway Methodist Church. I'm gonna go up here. That's the Methodist Church, built in 1860, or is that 53? 1853. And then right across the street here was the original Temperance Hall. And that was, they outgrew that building. They built that in 1880 for about $400. And then they outgrew that and they built the orange brick block building in 1909. And there's their 16-foot Jesus in the backyard of the Methodist church. And then you see up across the street again is the Lutheran church. And then about a quarter mile down the road was Jacob Peterson's farmhouse, back in as the site for the first and only murder in Norway, Illinois. There's a gentleman in 1875, some bandits came to Norway to rob Mr. Peterson of his money that he didn't believe in banks, so he kept his money under the mattress, his bed, and his farmhand was Benedict Sorensen, and he took the bullet for Mr. Peterson, and then the bandits fled the area, and the sheriff's looking for him all over the county, and then I think other states. But Benedict Sorensen was laid to rest at the Norway Cemetery, right down the highway here. A hero. Okay, now we're going to walk back. At the corner here, before the Ness brothers had the garage, there was the blacksmith shop, and they had a millery, and they had the Norway Academy. He taught, it's a high school and college for the village of Norway. And those buildings are no longer present. Now we're going to come up on the Norway store, up the hill here. While we're going up the hill, I wanted to mention that back in 1833, Kling Pearson was hiking up this trail that would become the Ottawa-Chicago Stagecoach Road. You can see we're going up the hill. He said at the top of the hill he reached, there was supposed to be a oak tree on the property at the time, and he looked to the south and he saw nothing but open prairie suitable for farming. So he decided, well, let's go back to New York. He walked back the 1,000 miles back to upstate New York, and said, pack up your stuff, come out here. This is great farming. And they did. So the next year, 1834, they started buying up all the farms in the area, and that was history. Families, descendants are still in this area today. A majority of the sloopers, original sloopers of 1825. There's 52 originally, and today their descendants have multiplied many times. Now there's 25,000 descendants of the sloopers. And sloopers got their name because they came to America on a single mast ship, a sloop style ship. So they had kept that nickname ever since, called sloopers. Now this right across the street is the other oldest building in Norway, other than our church. This is the Norway store. And this was started by Charles Borsenius, and he was born in Denmark, and he married a Norwegian girl, Martha Marie Schlanbusch, in 1860. And originally he worked for somebody else in retail in Chicago, and then the story goes later on one of the guys he worked with by the name of Marshall Field, they started their own retail store, mercantile, in Chicago. But what happened was, I guess Mr. Borsenius had tuberculosis, and he had to come out to the country here for fresher, cleaner air. So he decided to start a new store in Norway, Illinois. He bought the existing store that was built in 1848, and his store, as you see right here, is still in the same family. The 6th generation is running it today. And we're gonna go to the cemetery behind our church, and I'll show you where he's buried. So let's go on over here. So this is the oldest, represents the first Norwegian Lutheran church in America. This was built in 1852 by Reverend Elling Eielson, who came here to the Fox River settlement, which later became the Norway, Illinois. You see over there is the Methodist Church. And so Reverend Eielson was originally, he came in 1839, after 5 years after they started the settlement here, and he built a 2-story log cabin right down the road there. And after about 10-11 years of use, it burned down, sadly, and they replaced it with this brand new church material that they hauled by oxen from Chicago. And now this church is on the National Register of Historic Buildings. And then we have our boathouse. We have a quarter-scale Viking ship inside of there. Then we have a stabur that we just built last year. Represent farm buildings in rural Norway. Notice it's up on supports to keep it off the ground, to keep the rodents, the rats, from getting into the grain. So that's grain was stored in the bottom, and then you had living space or for storage up above. And then you had a lot of homes in Norway had the grass rows, so we have the billy goat up there keeping the grass trimmed. And then we'll just walk around behind the church. And underneath this 100-plus-year-old weeping mulberry tree is Charles Borsenius. I'm sure he's proud of his children, keeping up the traditions. This is a small cemetery behind the church. The last burial was back in 1890s. This is Andrew Osmundson, the largest monument, and his wife. and that was the farmer that gave this property, part of his farm right here, to build the first church in America. And then here's some more tombstones. The William Knitter, he was the original owner of the Norway store, and he sold it to Charles Porsenius and then some of their descendants. And this is a tree here as a memorial to the many board members that supported our Norse Museum over, this is our 50th year, and it's Norway spruce. It'll be here for many years to come. Okay, we're gonna walk back. Back before the turn of the century, they had, besides the Norway store, they had a blacksmith shop to the left there, then a lumber yard, and then right there is the one-room schoolhouse, built about 1880s, 1890s. And then we have a go-kart track across the highway there, and then we're gonna take a quick trip over across the highway there where Clink Pearson's farm was originally. Sign out.